Hello, this is number 2 of the exam or the classwork given last Monday. And if you remember last Monday, it was suspension of classes because of bad weather condition. But since most of you were in our classroom, so I let you finish answering this classwork. And here is the answer. So we have quantity n plus 1 factorial divided by n factorial. So we have to let m is equal to n plus 1. However, you can choose any other letter in the English alphabet also to represent n plus 1. But in this case, I decided to use letter m. So from number 1, we go to number 2. So we have m factorial. This n plus 1 factorial becomes now m factorial since m is equal to n plus 1. Then write again the denominator n factorial. So our n factorial by definition is n times quantity n minus 1 times quantity n minus 2, so forth and so on up to 1. And that's our definition of factorial. So simplifying, so following the definition of n factorial, our m factorial is now equal to m times quantity m minus 1 times quantity m minus 2 times quantity m minus 3 times quantity m minus 4, so forth and so on up to positive 1. Then copy the value of n factorial by definition. So our n factorial is equal to n times quantity n minus 1 times quantity n minus 2 times quantity n minus 3 times quantity n minus 4, so forth and so on. Since our m is equal to n plus 1, so apply substitution. So we have now quantity n plus 1, that is our m in number 3, will now be replaced by n plus 1. And we have m is equal to n plus 1. So we have now n plus 1. Then copy minus 1 from number 3. So we have minus 1. Then we have m minus 2. Our m is equal to n plus 1. So we have n plus 1 minus 2. And then we have quantity m minus 3. Since our m is n plus 1, so we have n plus 1 minus 3. Then we have quantity m minus 4. So our m is equal to n plus 1. So we have now n plus 1, then minus 4. Then copy, so forth and so on up to positive 1. Then copy again the denominator, n times quantity n minus 1 times quantity n minus 2 times quantity n minus 3 times quantity n minus 4. And that is so forth and so on up to positive 1. Okay, up to positive 1. Then we look at into the simplification. That is n plus 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have now n. That is plus 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have n. And in here, 1 minus 2 becomes negative 1. So we have n minus 1. Then we have 1 minus 3 becomes negative 2. So we have now n minus 2. Then we have n. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So we have quantity n minus 3. Then so forth and so on up to minus 1. So if we look at into the numerator and denominator, there are common factors. So these factors in the numerator and the factors in the denominator are the same, so they can be cancelled out. So the remaining is n plus 1. So therefore, our quantity n plus 1 factorial divided by n factorial is now simplified as n plus 1.